long has it been since your stroke?
11 months.
11 months then. And what kind of problems were you guys having before you came down here to the intensive program?
Well, there really wasn't foundation with I don't know.
There really wasn't a foundation.
With needed my and
So the question was, what kind of problems were we having before we came down here?
Yeah.
So there really wasn't a foundation.
Yeah.
A foundation of what?
You're talking about speaking?
yeah. Speaking for
Verbs? Verbs?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't think we still understand what you mean.
What do you want to hear?
Well, I mean, what did you think was a problem before we came down here that you wanted to address? Or what were what problems did you think you were having that you hoped that coming down here would help to solve or make better?
Speeches.
You just wanted to have your speech generally get better.
Yeah.
Okay. But were there any specific problems?
No.
No. Well, we weren't really having specific problems. I think we have good support from our family and friends, and Brent has a good attitude and is pretty good at figuring out how to do things. So we kind of managed to adjust to day-to-day life. Brent was able to kind of get done what he needed to get done, but I think the objective in coming down here was just to see if we couldn't speed things up a bit, find a way to take advantage of the many strengths that Brent has and further leverage those in a way you just can't, only having speech therapy 1 hour a day. So.
Well, some of the things that we had talked about this morning were being able to be able to speak more clearly.
Oh, that's true, yeah. As far as specific goals,
Mm-hmm.
yes. I mean, Brent, we had gotten to a point where we can communicate pretty well, at least certainly for basic needs, wants. If there's something he really wanted to communicate, I could usually, get it. Communicating with friends, a little harder, but people who've been around him enough could sort of figure it out. But yeah, communicating with complete strangers was difficult. And so a big goal something that I really was hoping we could achieve in the 6 weeks that we would be down here was to make his speech more intelligible to strangers. Mm-hmm. So if he were in a situation he had to get something done and the people that he was talking to didn't know him, had never encountered him before, he would be able to communicate with them and they would at least be able to understand what he was saying. And I think we've made some real progress towards that. His speech is much clearer. He has, I think, some ideas of some strategies. He's more willing to write things down when he's not getting his point across. So that was an important use it just with the thinking of the easier it is to talk to people, the more you're going to talk, and then it becomes a kind of a self-sustaining thing after that. So that was kind of a big goal that we had for doing this.
And to speak in sentences as well was one of the things that...
Yep.
Now, so as far as the things that we worked on while you were here, do you feel that you've made some significant progress in all,
Yeah.
in all the things
Yeah.
you wanted to
Yeah.
do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that, definitely.
And do you have any advice, either of you or both of you, for other caregivers or other people with aphasia?
No. I mean, we get that we're special, space or space or
You're going to say special?
yeah.
I would say, as a caregiver, the most important thing is to avoid social isolation, both for yourself and for your spouse. And I asked for help early and often from my family, friends, and neighbors, all of whom were great. Brent was in the hospital, people came to visit him. It's really important. And the concrete advice would be, find things that your loved one can do that involve people, that don't necessarily involve words, because they're, like Brent, as it happened, likes to play Scrabble, which is kind of strange for someone with aphasia, but he could play Scrabble and he was good at it, and so I would say, hey, could you come over and play? I hate Scrabble. Could you come over and play Scrabble with Brent? And people would, and Brent is good at playing cards, or come over and play cards with Brent. And people would. Our neighbors came over, we had a poker night at the house. So that, I did that from the beginning when Brent was in the hospital, and I think that's been really, really good. People get used to being around him and realize, oh, you know what? We can do this, we can just hang out, or we can find ways to communicate, we can do it, and that has been really important. Get out as much as you can, as much as is feasible. The day Brent got out of the hospital, we went to the grocery store, we went to the bank, and I don't remember, we went somewhere else. And going to the same places, he always went to the grocery store with me over and over again. People recognized him, responded to him, commented that when they noticed that he was doing better, or when he spoke to them and they understood, they were really, and just seeing the same people over and over again, I think in the outside setting, is confidence building. And I think, I didn't really think of it at the time, but that's kind of how it turned out to be, and I think that was really good. The other thing is to find, again, interest, like whatever, find something that your spouse is interested in, that they like doing, and get out and do it. Even if it's, watching sports with friends, or like Brent had never been interested in art, but we sort of found out by accident that he liked being in a museum and looking at the paintings, which before he would have just been like fooling around on his iPhone. So he started going to art museums more, and going out and ordering a coffee, and going and looking at the art. Anything that you gotta get out there, even if you think you don't have time, you have to, for your own sanity, and to keep your partner interested and engaged. You've got to find stuff to do and just get out and do it.
Remember your speech, Brent? You were telling everybody to keep
to keep working